All right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the second part of the show, we are now going to get into talking about the Packers picking up a 30-14 victory over the Tennessee Titans. And it was a revenge game for Malik Willis, even though to him it wasn't a revenge game, but that's what we're going to label it. You know, he said he had nothing but nice things to say about the Titans leading up to this game. So yeah, from his perspective, not a revenge game. From our perspective, we were still going to label it that because, he used to be the quarterback for the Titans, and they opted to, take another quarter because, they drafted him, and then they drafted Will Levis. So, and then eventually, Malik Willis got traded, had a good preseason. The Packers needed a backup quarterback. The Packers, they took a chance on him, and so far, it has paid off because, he stepped in. And, I know against the opponents that they've gone up against, you could say, well, they should win those games. I get it. But still, I mean, it's impressive what he's been able to do. And, for the Packers, actually, we'll put up Malik Willis' stats here. So, they might be getting Jordan Love back this week, which is huge. And the fact that the Packers are 2-1 here, because I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't think Malik Willis was gonna, play well, but the Packers, Matt LaFleur is a good coach. He doesn't get enough credit. I was critical of him, and I keep saying that, but Matt LaFleur has shown that he is a good head coach. And Malik Willis had 2 total touchdowns in this game, 1 rushing, 1 passing touchdown, passed for 202 yards, went 13 of 19. The Packers ran the ball for almost 200 yards in this game, so they still put an emphasis on the running game. Emmanuel Wilson had 50 yards on the ground. Malik Willis had 73 yards on the ground. Josh Jacobs had 14 carries for 43 yards. Jaden Reed had 2 for 19. So the Packers are still, putting more of an emphasis on running the football. Now, you thought going into this game, the Titans with their defense, that it was going to be a little bit more of an issue, and that Malik Willis was going to have to throw the ball. And he did throw the ball a little bit more. But, he basically... So, last week, he went 12 of 14. This past week, 13 of 19. So, threw the ball a little bit more and, did what he was supposed to do. Didn't put the ball in harm's way. And the Packers are 2-1. And their leading receiver was Christian Watson. He went 2 receptions for 67 yards. Jaden Reed had 4 for 50. Emmanuel Wilson, 2 for 35 and a touchdown, had a 30-yard touchdown reception. Was a nicely designed play there. Tucker Kraft had 2 for 24. Luke Van Ness had a fumble recovery in this game. The Packers' defense had 8 sacks in this game. They got after Will Levis. Quay Walker had a half a sack. Devontae White had 2. Preston Smith had 2. Luke Van Ness had 1. They were all over Will Levis. Jair Alexander had his first career pick 6 in this game. Xavier McKinney also had a pick. So he's had an interception in every single game so far. And I can tell you as a Giant fan, I do miss having him on the team. I'm still kind of curious why the Giants let him go, but that's what they decided to do. So we'll kind of go through the game summary. So both teams exchanged touchdowns to start the game. So the Packers went 6 plays, 70 yards down the field. Malik Willis hit Christian Watson for 30 yards. He scored a 5-yard rushing touchdown once they got to 2nd and goal at the Titans 5. So that made it 7-0. Then the Titans, they went 10 plays, 70 yards, 5 minutes of time possession down the field. And Will Levis connected with Nick Van Nett for a 1-yard touchdown. So you're like, okay, that was good for the Titans that they were able to do that. Then the Packers answered with a field goal drive to make it 10-7. And then bad moment here for the Titans. Levis was trying to connect with DeAndre Hopkins, who actually ended up having a good game for them. He scored a touchdown. But ended up getting picked off by Jair Alexander. Like I said, that was his first career pick 6 to make it 17-7 Packers. Titans punted, Packers punted, Titans punted again. Packers were able to get a field goal to make it 20-7. And that's how we went into the half. Packers up 20-7. Titans opened up the second half, turning it over on downs. Will Levis tried to pick up the first down, but ended up getting sacked and not gaining any yards. And that ended up being a turnover on downs. Packers turned that into a touchdown. That was the Emmanuel Wilson 30-yard touchdown reception. Titans actually did score a touchdown on their next drive. Levis connected with DeAndre Hopkins for an 11-yard touchdown to make it 27-14. Packers punted, and then Will Levis fumbled, got sacked, lost the ball, was recovered by Luke Van Ness, but the Packers didn't turn that into anything. Then a bunch of punts in the fourth quarter. Packers kicked another field goal to make it 30-14, and then Will Levis threw another interception, and that was to Xavier McKinney. He was trying to hit Calvin Ridley, and that was basically it. Will Levis on the day went 26-34, 260 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, fumbled, so 3 more turnovers in this game. Not good. Titans only ran the ball for 33 yards. DeAndre Hopkins ended up being their leading receiver, 6 receptions for 73 yards and a touchdown. Titans defense had 3 sacks in this game, but yeah, Will Levis continues to turn the football over, and he has not been good. He has not been good, and you got to wonder, do the Titans make a change at quarterback at some point? And give somebody else. I don't even, I'll be honest, I don't even know who their backup quarterback is right now because Ryan Tannehill's not there anymore. And, actually, no, I do know who it is, Mason Rudolph. So, could we see Mason Rudolph at some point? Maybe. Because, Will Levis is just not playing well. Again, it's a mixed bag. He puts a touchdown drive together in the beginning, but then he'll throw a pick six, and then he'll fumble. And it's just, he still tries to do too much. And I feel like, this week they're taking on the Dolphins, and I don't even know who their starting quarterback is going to be. So that could be a winnable game. The Dolphins, they really struggled on Sunday against the Seahawks without Tua. So maybe they can win that game. And then you go into the bye week, you clean things up, and you come back, and maybe Will Levis is a different quarterback. But since his debut, it really has been it's been downhill since then. He has not played well, and the Titans, they did a lot this offseason to put him in a better situation, and so far he has not been good. The turnovers really have been a problem, and you wonder how long is it going to be before, the head coach says, all right, we're giving Mason a shot. It wouldn't surprise me because Will Levis just has not been good. And, but again, you see he'll put together drives, but then, he'll throw a pick six like we saw, and he'll fumble. It's just, we'll see. But at least for now, he's the starting quarterback going forward. As for the Packers, they've done what they've done what they can do in these 2 games without Jordan Love. This was the best case scenario for him because, got more positive news on Jordan Love that he wasn't going to miss, an extended period of time, that, he could be back sooner. And it looks like he could be on track to play this Sunday when they take on the Vikings, which is a huge game. But you got to give credit to Malik Willis, did what he was supposed to do. And, Matt LaFleur had good game plans going into both of these games against the Colts and against the Titans. The Titans, people thought, including myself, thought it was going to be a tougher game on the road. Titans have a good defense. The Colts' defense is not good so far this year. So, yeah. Now you get Jordan Love back, and, then this team can really take off. They could have been 3-0 if they, I think if they were 3-0, maybe Jordan Love doesn't get hurt because, they had to try to, throw a Hail Mary at the end of the game to try to win it. So maybe, if they were winning that game, Jordan Love would not have been put in that situation. So he would have still been playing. But either way, it's a hypothetical. But the Packers are 2-1. And they're in a good spot. The defense is playing well. The running game has been very good so far. Even with Josh Jacobs not having a good game, the previous week, he ran the ball 32 times, but the Packers have a good running game. And that definitely would be beneficial once Jordan Love comes back, because you could still lean on that a little bit. Ease him back into it. Don't ask him to throw. I mean, of course, if the Packers are, down, they're going to have to throw the ball more. But, they want to ease Jordan Love back into it. And this running game, with Josh Jacobs, with Emmanuel Wilson, Marshawn Lloyd got placed on IR. But Packers running game is good. So that's what they are probably going to continue to rely upon until Jordan Love gets back to, close to 100%. So, but yeah, an impressive victory for them. And like I said, they take on the Vikings this Sunday, which is a massive game. The Vikings right now are on top of the division, and I had them at the bottom. So I've been wrong about them. Even though, again, like I talked about how good their roster is, it's just they had a tough schedule to start the year, but they're 3-0. And it's really not like they've beaten lesser opponents. Well, other than you could say the Giants, but they've beaten some very good teams. So, and don't be surprised if we see the Vikings a little bit later in the show when I talk about my power rankings. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys think though about the Packers-Titans game. What were some of your takeaways from it? Let me know in the comments. So before we go to break, I just want to remind you guys once again to tip or donate and get your comments recognized. Make sure to go click on the Super Chat button in the chat. This will help create a Super Chat of any thought or comment you may have throughout the live broadcast. I will acknowledge it. It just makes the show more lively, more entertaining between myself, the host, and you guys, the viewers. We appreciate you guys' viewership each and every day as we put out content for you guys each and every day. So any contribution you can make to the show means the world to us. And also the other way to help out the show is by going to the link at the bottom of the show segment on the ticker, GSMCPodcast.net. So when we come back from our second break of the show, we'll talk about Bo Nix picking up his first victory in the NFL as him and the Broncos upset the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa 26-7. So we'll get into that when we come back from our next break. So with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.